What's up, Guru Nation? Welcome back to the clinicaltrialsguru.com. My name is Dan Sfera. I'm joined by Andrew Young.
How's it going?
Andrew is a vet in this industry as a consultant. Well, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yeah, hi. So I worked previously on the clinical publishing side to medical professionals. I also was the CEO of a clinical reference lab, and now I'm working more deeply in medical devices.
Medical device, and so Andrew and I were just brainstorming here. He's a consultant to a lot of biotechs, medical device companies. He said, was in the advertising space, pharma advertising. And so this video is going to be a quick 5 to 8 minute video on how to pitch, especially if there's a lot of freelance consultants watching, right? There's a lot of research sites, there's a lot of site owners that also do consulting on the side, sort of like what I do. So these are small, like freelancers, but oftentimes they end up working with large company, multinational companies, right? And you were telling me something very valuable off camera, which I wanted to share with the audience, how to pitch these large multinational companies, because they don't think the same way we do, right?
Yeah.
So explain.
Yeah. Sometimes it can be very backwards because there are different forces that are acting on them versus us. And in particular, the people that you're interacting with, like many of them will have a performance plan that they will be rewarded for meeting certain objectives. And it's important to understand what they really care about, and ideally even how to understand how they're being compensated so that you can help them to understand what you can do for them to meet their goals. And
that is a huge value nugget right there. I mean, I know for myself personally, I wasn't asking the clients, especially these large clients, the right questions. Because I was thinking, and I always put myself in the other person's shoes, which is good, but I'm a small business owner. And so when I put myself in their shoes, I was thinking within the framework of a small business owner's mindset. And that's not the case. I was asking the wrong questions. I need to be asking, how is your compensation affected by the results that we're going to produce or help produce for you, right?
Right. So how can we produce more of those? And in some cases, they also to understand how their budgeting works. And for example, they may need to spend a certain amount of money. I'm sure you're familiar with that, but by a certain period of time, or they lose their budget, because that's how it tends to work in larger companies. So there's this ridiculous incentive to spend. So if you can provide value by, let's say, if they're on sort of the government fiscal year by October, like before October, then they can close out their budget, and all of a sudden you're getting money pushed at you because you've been able to solve a problem for them.
Now, how do you get them to speak freely and openly about what really motivates them?
Yeah, I think it's just asking a lot of probing questions, like first of all, building some trust too, and credibility that you're somebody who's who can help them out and is competent, and just by, I think, dialing in on what they asking them what their goals are, asking them how they're even how they're incentivized. Some of them will definitely tell you that. What other questions?
So in exchange for this, because typically what this means, what it all boils down to, is you're probably not charging enough for your services. This is what I learned today. I had the feeling, but I didn't realize that, and I didn't put two and two together and think about what their objectives are and how that affects their paychecks, right? So I had to put that together in the presentations. What it ultimately boils down to is you're probably not charging enough. Maybe charge 5 to 10 times more. I know it sounds ridiculous, but do it. On the flip side of that coin, though, your presentation probably has to be a lot more thorough,
right?
Because they still have to justify this, right? So
absolutely.
If you have like a 2-page presentation or a PowerPoint, it probably has to be 20 pages.
Right. Yeah. It takes. You'll really have to draw out the value and impute the value, because that's one of the things, they don't have the time or the mental space to figure out how all of your services map into their goals and moving the dial for them.
Right.
So it's up to you to do all the thinking in advance, and maybe even model it on a spreadsheet and show the different ways, and making some rough assumptions, show the different ways that it can affect the things that matter to them the most.
Try to learn their business. So without mentioning the large company that you landed a client deal with,
Major drug company.
how many phone calls did it take? Did you meet face to face?
Yeah.
How did you pitch them? And then how long was your presentation?
That's a really good point. So we met with them multiple times. One of the things that was very helpful was to document what we talked about in a very concise email that allowed them to sell us internally. So you want to equip them as salespeople, essentially, to be our champions.
Did you meet face to face?
Yeah, absolutely.
Face-to-face.
And they became enrolled and interested in our success as well. And
so you traveled to them?
Right. And we also did what you do very well, which is information marketing, and shared key insights with the client that then they could take internally and look really smart, because we've helped them to understand things about the market that they didn't know about. So it was kind of a value-added service. Like we really built a lot of credibility that way, and also just made them look good.
That is awesome. Thank you, Andrew. And if anyone needs to get a hold of you, first of all, what can you help them with?
Sure. I'd be happy to help you with strategy and getting the most out of your pitches, and marketing and positioning, and also overall business strategy, so that you can take your company on a much steeper trajectory into profit.
If anyone wants to reach Andrew, I'll have a link, right? Should I put your LinkedIn on there?
That sounds good.
LinkedIn link will be in the YouTube video and also in the blog post when it makes the blog, right? Thank you, Andrew.
All right, thank you, Dan.
Thank you, Guru Nation, theclinicaltrialsguru.com. Take care.